Okay, we're going to have a look at a basic overview of using the pen tool to create paths in Adobe Illustrator CC. Okay, I go up to the File menu and I go New. And what I'm doing here is just creating an A4 size. I'm going to have it landscape, and just leave it those dimensions for print. Bring that up. I need to show a grid. If I was on a PC, I go to the Edit menu, go down to the bottom and bring up Preferences. I'm on an Apple Mac, so I go to the Illustrator menu and I go to Preferences and I go Grids and Guide. Now, because this is 209.7 across, because it's an A4 landscape, I'm going to break it up into 20 columns or grids, which mean each of those is going to be 14.8. Subdivisions are going to be 2. They're the divisions inside each of those grids, and click OK. Now nothing has happened. We need to get to show the grid, View menu, and Show Grid. Now here's our grid with the subsections inside. Now we'll start off by using the pen tool, which is over here, has a number of keyboard shortcuts. Pressing P will bring the pen tool up. Pressing the plus sign will then be able to add anchor points. The minus will take away anchor points. And then there's the anchor point tool, which is Shift and C for editing the anchor points. Now I'll just start off with the ordinary pen tool. If we're going to draw a shape like a square, we can use the grid, click, hold down the Shift key to draw a straight line, click again, hold the Shift key, do it down here, using the grid, go across. You'll see some smart guides will mate up, and that will show you that everything is straight. And you'll see here, once you joined it up, the squares disappear. That means it's got fill. I click on the black arrowhead up at the top, the selection tool, and I'll just make sure there isn't a fill on there. There's still got a stroke on there, that's fine, and that stroke is 1 point. Now we've drawn a simple square. If I look at the layers to show what's going on here, bring up the layers, otherwise I can click over here for the layers, but I will drag it over here. Here we have our layer and we just have one path on that. Now, I'll see how I can edit that. Now I can go over here and bring up the plus anchor point. Otherwise, I can press the plus sign on my keyboard and I can click here. Now also, I can click somewhere on the other side as well. Now once I've got those anchor points, I can then either get the direct selection tool, which is white, and I can click on here and drag those out. I will just undo that. Or I can press C, Shift and C. That will bring up my anchor point tool, and I can click on the anchor point. And what that does is gives me some beziers that I can curve around on there and change the shape of that. Also, I can just do with that tool, just do the individual ones and pull them out like that, and click here and get rid of those, or you can click again and move them around. Now, good way of just making some shapes. I can then go back and press, say, the minus. Once you get the minus, I can take away those points and take them back where they were before. So, simple how you can do those, and that's what those tools do. I will delete that. This time I'll do some curves. Again, I can go up here and get the pen tool, or I can press P on my keyboard. What I will do is click somewhere about here. I will come up a couple of squares over there, hold my Shift key down the keyboard, and I will drag out my bezier. What this will do is constrain it, and I drag it out, and what it's done is that. Now it knows maybe I want to make another curve equal, so I go down here until I get smart guides, and again I click the intersection, and again I can go down here, and this time drag out my guides until I get whatever point I want it to be, and then again I come up here and join it up. Not a great looking shape, but you get the idea of how that pen tool works. Now delete that. Another thing we can do is we'll give it another go here with the pen tool. I can click, I can do a line, then I can go up here, hold it down, bring up the handles, change that around. Then if I want to carry on and don't want to curve, I can press escape. I can click back on here and then I can come up here and then just do a straight line, click here, and go down. Again, if I want it curved, I drag these out like that and get the shape I want it to be. Again, it's doing this. Now what I can do is press Shift and C, and you can change certainly the the directions of any of this. See, I can pull that out, move this over the way. Once I've got that, you can see it's got these sort of things. It's changing the shape of it, and when I pull these handles, you're getting a little bit of control over there, and that's how it can go. You can move it around. At any point, I can press the plus sign and click anywhere on here. Again, I can press Shift and C to bring up that tool, and then again I can move the Bezier points however I want them to be and move them around. A little bit of sometimes getting used to these things, and that's how we've got that. Again, I can press P for my path tool. I can click on this anchor point, and then I can carry on and just go around and link that up. Okay, so that's made one path. Once you've got that, you can get the direct selection tool, click on that item, and then you can fill that in any color you want, and also you can take the stroke up. So mainly in Illustrator you are copying things, maybe tracing things that you've brought in, but this gives you a good idea of how you can use the path tool. Now I'll delete that. If I go underneath the path tool, it's got the curvature tool. Now if I click on that, this is a bit more simple way of doing it. If we click on here, and what we can do is just click out like that, and what it's doing is curving, see? So when I've got that, I can click there and click there and come through it, but it's actually sort of curving it for me down here, and I can pull it out like that. So it's doing similar to what I did before, but without using the Bezier, as you can get a shape. Now what I will do is I'll just delete that, and I'll just go through that again. This time I'll turn off my fill. Again, I'll do it again. I just click, I click again, I keep my click there, and then once I've got the first point, I can bend it like that. I can bend it this way, I can bend it that way. So it's giving you a good idea of how it's going to bend it, and you can do shapes like that, mainly without doing the Bezier. Probably be quite tricky to trace around something, but this is maybe good if you're sort of doing some shapes and it smooths them out. Now once you've got that, if I want to press a Shift and C, I've got those points, and what I can do is then I could edit those points once I've got the handles and change them around like that. I might come along and want to add a point, so I click the plus key and click a plus there, then Shift and C, and then I can move those anchors around like those. Also, I can get the direct selection tool, which is a white arrowhead, and click on those and literally move them around. So there's a number of different sort of ways of sort of doing these things, and we can bring these in. I've got the handles on there. If I get hold of the path, you can move it around and take it in and take it out. Okay, so again, as we had before, we can press the minus and we can get rid of some points here if you wanted to, and change things around. Now that's using the path tool, and ideally when you are using anything, you need to close off a path. If I say start from here, I'll just say, for example, if I start away from it and doing something like this, you'll see, press escape to stop that, you'll see we've got two paths. Now what I can do now is if I click on there and then go to say somewhere like here and click on the intersection, and then I click here and then click on there and do the intersection, you'll see now I've joined that path up by clicking on there and having the pen tool and adding to it. So now it's only one path. If I can come along and have the minus, I can click there and you can click things off. Now another thing I could do is cut it. So if we went down to the rubber tool, the eraser, get the scissors, and I click on an anchor point, Now, once I've clicked on that, I may want to click on another anchor point over here. Now, what I can do is get the direct selection tool, and you'll see now I've cut it into 2 segments, and I can move that up here. And what I've done is I've chopped that away and moved it around. Got the black arrowhead, and what you've got is the 2 paths. So you can join things up, cut them, use the path tool to go around. Also, you can use the curvature tool. So you've got a number of options when you're using the path tool to either draw objects freehand or even trace them.